Hello everyone, Christina LaCrafty here to share with you one of my latest projects that I have finished. I actually was working on this for most of this year, here and there, in between life, craft events, everything, and even the 2-month break that I took during the summer. And I really dedicated some more time into it once all of my craft fairs were over this fall. And yeah, so this was a special request from one of my friends. I had already made one kind of like this, just a little bit smaller, as a gift for one of my friends that used to be my coworker that I don't get to work with her anymore and we don't get to spend as much time. And I wanted to do something really special for her birthday this year. So earlier in the year, I had already made one of these and I gave it to her for her birthday back in May. I didn't end up giving it to her until much later because of some things that happened in her life. So I didn't get it to meet up with her until later, but I had it ready before May. And so when I was showing another friend of mine the pictures of what I had made, she wanted one for her mom for Christmas. So we actually did like a bartering because she's making something for me to give to my husband as a birthday gift. So it's basically like that's how it happened. And I actually have a lot more of this yarn that I purposely hoarded after I started working with this because I absolutely loved the way that this yarn works up. And so we'll start with the yarn first. So this is, a Chevron Afghan. I don't remember how long it is wide, but I do know that I ended up doing 100 rows of double crochet. So I didn't take final measurements yet. I don't really think it's that important. I really was just going off of how tall the person was that I was making it for and just make sure that it went up like to their head. But this is just supposed to be a throw, but it did end up work up very wide, wider than I had expected. But it's fine because, I love how like wide and gorgeous it is. And so this yarn is Caron Jumbo Ombre, and the color is Faded Jeans. It's acrylic yarn, and so here's like a sample here on the packaging of like what it would look like on a smaller piece. And I think the first time I made this, I used between 3 and 4 skeins. I think this time I used more like 4 skeins, maybe a little bit more, because this one I made it a little wider than the first one. And let's see, what else was I going to say? Yeah, so I'm going to fasten off my ends, take off my all of my stitch holders. In the end there, you'll see a bunch of stitch holders here where Grayson is. Right there, because when you're starting the first chain, you have to kind of like keep track of how many chains you have so that you don't lose your place and don't have to recount them all. So that's what those are, but those are going to be coming off. And let's see. So the pattern that I kind of used as a go-to is a pattern from this book here, My First Afghan by Red Heart. And the pattern is actually the one that's here on the cover. It's called, I think, like a zigzag Afghan, but obviously I didn't do color changes. I found yarn that actually worked with, with the pattern so that I wouldn't have to change the colors because I loved the colors that were already on the skein. So it's called the zigzagan. I can't pronounce that anyway. So this is what I use as a go-to to get the actual like pattern started, but I didn't use any of the really like the specifics on how many rows to go or chains because I really just eyeballed it. I started the chains based on how long I wanted it to be, how wide, and then I just kept going. But the rest of the pattern is with help from that book. And I'm on my cell phone right now, so it's really hard to really show you just like how big it is, but that's like a full-size couch. And then I'll try to go like this and it just keeps kind of like going a little bit more. So yeah, it's really tall. It's a lot taller than me. All I know is I did 100 rows of double crochet. So anyway, I hope you guys like it. I am thrilled to be done with this, and I'm gonna take a break from this yarn for a while because I have a lot of other critters that I need to make for special requests. And then I'm going to hopefully be touching some paper in the coming new year, because I unfortunately did not get to scrapbook at all this year because of my crochet adventures. But I'm hoping that I will find a little bit more time management to do all of my hobbies next year. So anyway, until the next post, I remain Christina LaCrafty. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bye. Okay guys, so after I shot the first part of the video, I decided to go ahead and make a second part to attach to this video. So I went ahead and took some final measurements, and it is 62 inches long and 55 inches wide. So right now I have it folded up on my couch, and that's how I took some of my measurements, just to make it easier. Because, you know, this is a leather couch, so there wouldn't be so much hair. Like, I didn't want to go put it on my bed, because I know my cats like to be on my bed, and I wanted to keep as much, you know, hair and stuff off of this. So anyway, so I did 62 inches long, because right now the way that I have it laid out, that's the, like, you know, this would be the top or the bottom that way. And then wide, once you lay it out, then it would be 55 inches. So 62 by 55. And then I averaged out that it took me between 25 and 30 hours to make total. Because, and how I came to that calculation is towards the end, when I was pretty familiar with the pattern, I actually set myself a timer, and it took me anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes per row, and I did 100 rows. But that obviously doesn't account for the times that I had to stop, count my stitches, undo stitches because I like messed up or missed something, or when I had to undo like 2 or 3 rows because I was missing something, you know, a stitch at the end. And so anyway, and that also doesn't account for the times that I have to stop and fight with the yarn when it gets caught into knots and stuff. But, you know, if you wanted to put a time frame on this, it took anywhere between 25 to 30 hours to finish this blanket. And obviously I didn't do it from, you know, start to stop. I took my time with this and picked it up and put it down a million times this year. So anyway, hopefully that gives all the people the stats that might have those questions. That way, you know, but if you have any other questions, just put them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks. Bye.